Hi, it's Stephanie, and welcome to my podcast. Today, I'm so excited because we are here with Heather Ewing. She has had many lives in her life, and I think it's really important for all of us to understand that there is no straight path in life. There's an idea that that's how we should be, and if because we can look around and see people that have only had that one career who have seemed like they know what they're doing, but the truth is in our hearts are always going to be changing, and we're always going to be following our hearts, and that's the true way to get to authenticity. So thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me, Stephanie. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, I've wanted to just sit down and chat with you for a long time, so this is actually perfect. I would love to know just your background a little bit.
Sure. So my background, it's definitely that winding road. And I would say as a child, I always had an affinity towards the arts and things of that nature. And I ended up going into business. So that kicked off 11 years in operations management, which to me, and I think many people are orientated this way of getting something stable, something secure, your 401k, locking in your 2 weeks vacation, things of that nature. And I had a really bad car accident, which I call it a blessing in disguise, right? As you make your way through, you do find the silver linings. But I think everyone enters a phase of life, and I call it divine discontent. And that's where I was at during those 11 years in operations of just feeling out of sorts. I was doing what I felt was the right thing. And I was just really unhappy. You know, when you're driving down the road around 5:30 at night and you see these people, I say they're dead in the eyes because they're dead in their heart in the sense of what they're doing. So really the accident, that early career started a trajectory of me asking the big questions that people typically ask in midlife in my early 20s. Who am I? What am I? What am I here for? What is life about? How do I be my fullest expression of self? How do I live fully, and how do I help others do so? And so it was a big veer in my path, and it just really triggered a lot of unknowns, a lot of challenges, a lot of wins, a lot of growth, a lot of great people, and a lot of career choices.
Yeah, so what was your thought process when you were, at that end? What was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back? Because you're unhappy in this career, you realize, okay, I'm in my 20s, I have this whole life to live. What was the one thing, or maybe it was many things, that made you decide, okay, today's the day. Today's the day I'm going to take control of my life and I'm going to follow my heart.
Right. And that's a big question. It's a great question. And for me, I said it was when the pain was greater than the fear of the unknown. One of those where I just felt like I was dying. And then I have this car accident where I was granted a second chance at life. You don't frequently get that, right? And that's something that I hold really near and dear to my heart because it's a change point. And I think some people get it in small little rustles, right? Maybe they'll have the reoccurring thoughts, right? That's a connection of your heart saying, hey, wake up, I'm here, you know? I think also when you start feeling your energy of just it really take a plunge, you know that something isn't aligned, whether it's the career arena or maybe how you're showing up, right? We have a lot of poor habits where you can be in the right career arena, but the way we're handling ourselves isn't going to allow you to grow and thrive. And so I think it comes at various levels, but in a nutshell, it was when the fear of the unknown was less than the pain of the present. And then also with that car accident, I was like, you need to make different choices in life, Heather, of like, this isn't child's play. It's time to wake up, pull up your big girl pants, your big boy pants, you know, whoever is listening to this, and make some choices. And also I thought, this is going to sound dramatic, but this is genuinely how I felt. I felt like, you know, being in my early 20s, waiting until 65 to retire in an arena that doesn't fuel me, that felt like a death sentence.
Yeah.
And to me, again, the fear of the unknown became less than the pain of the present. So that's what instigated it.
So after you make this choice, there's always, for most people anyways, it's never like this cushion of like, oh, my life is great now that I found myself. So for most people, there's like this spot of free falling until you figure it out. So what were kind of your thoughts and ideas of where did you think your life would go after you made this big choice?
You know, honestly, I was trying so hard just to find normalcy at that time that even just, you know, because I had broken my neck, I had titanium plates put into my face, I had my eye socket rebuilt. No, I don't set off alarms. All of my friends enjoyed that one. Ewing, are you going to set off the alarm? But, you know, the thing that I've realized now that I'm 50 is that life, you're never going to make one choice and it all falls in line.
Yeah.
And in my early days, I used to think that if you find the one career that you love, life will be better. It'll be sunshine and roses. I won't wake up feeling kind of some days and excited the others. I thought it was the cure-all. And this is the PSA for today. There's not a cure-all. What it really comes down to is aligning your skill set with things that inspire you and use it as a vehicle for your gifts. I think we all innately have different gifts. And I think it's up to each of us to, one, find those through trying different things, two, to hone them, and then three, to share them and to be unafraid in doing so. And so I think in cultivating all of that, it puts you on the path for a rich life. And every day, I make myself do something uncomfortable. And it's a habit that I've gotten into. I became an entrepreneur in 2009. And I've learned a ton over that time of what was successful, what was not successful. Fortunately, I always managed through, but there were some really dark and heavy days, and there's no guarantees. And being in commercial real estate, it's high ticket sales and there's a lot of volatility. And I joke, you don't have to be in Vegas to play at the tables. It's every day.
Yeah.
And so it's combining a morning ritual for me, also different things throughout the day. And then I like to run in the evening. And to me, I think there's no better way of processing different things than getting a good run in the evening. It's a nice way to bookend my days, my morning meditation, my evening run, which is a moving meditation. I get a lot of insights. I connect with myself. And I always say when you're outside of the four walls, you can't BS yourself. You know your truth. And once you know it, you can't go back. You can't go back. And that's something that resonates in our hearts and in the pit of our stomach. And it's taking one small step to unravel it. And that's where I think people get stuck. They think the one choice is going to be the golden ticket for life. But what I always say is it's following the next inclination of heart and mind. And that's going to put you on a path. And the important thing is in making decisions, you rule out others. And as you advance down that path, you'll know, is this the right one for me? Is it not? Is this fear, or is it, I have to become more? I have to let go of the old story. I have to step into a new energy, a new empowered way. I'm going to have to learn a new skill set. I'm going to have to get uncomfortable. I'm going to have to meet people, go into new circles, expand, grow, right? So it's understanding, is it the wrong pool, or is it a skill set or mindset factor? So it's multifaceted.
I think that mindset is so huge. So it's and I agree 100%. It's you have that one step. So it's, for me, it's like just push record, you know, because I struggle so much to create content.
Yeah.
But I also know when I'm creating content, that's when my business is most aligned with who I am.
Exactly.
So it's like that little step of pressing record. I don't know what's going to happen, but I know that if I don't press record, I know what will happen.
Exactly. No, and I think that's terrific, Stephanie. And that's a perfect example of you have to do it afraid. People that are successful do it afraid. Those that don't reach their goals don't do it because they're afraid. And it's a huge differentiator. And to your point, press the button, right? And to give you an
Yeah.
example, I do a lot of speaking now on real estate in different forums, interviews, things of that nature, podcasts, and I love it. But several years ago, I was scared to be even in front of a person because I was afraid they were going to see all of the scars. They were going to see that, that my face wasn't symmetrical. I was healing. My smile was extremely crooked, all these different things. And so I forced myself into this is when I was still in the operations arena, working for the holidays at Aveda. And I was horrified because I was just like, they're going to look at me and think I'm a freak. Right. But so there's the example of making yourself do something over and over and over. And then, people would want a testimonial for something. So I would give them for that because I love their product. Or, creating a video about some hike out in Colorado. Then it's, this arena. Then I'm with Faith when she was in the fitness realm. We're on the news. I'm doing planks, and it was just a progression. And then I enrolled myself in Toastmasters and karate, which was a huge boost. But it's years and decades of doing that. And that's why when people are like, well, it's easy for you,
Yeah,
right?
there's no
How many reps that is. So kudos to you, Stephanie. A lot of people don't. And, the level of giving in life and moving beyond fear is the level of success that we'll receive. And I define success both in financial, physical, relationship, and spiritual ways. And
Yeah.
it's not just a dollar figure.
Yeah. That was a huge wake up call for me was when I changed my idea of success from
Right.
how much money is in my bank account to if I wake up in the morning happy and whole in my heart and I have a great day. So, and everything else follows.
Mm-hmm.
But if you wake up in the morning and you can't get out of bed because you hate your life, you hate your job, you hate your spouse, whatever it is, you're never going to get past that.
Right. And it's focusing on one thing.
Yeah. You can't expect your life to just automatically come together when you don't feel whole.
Right. And I think that's a lifelong journey.
I think
And
so too.
again, I'm big on written plans. I used to never write them out until I saw the power of them. And I also encourage people too I remember years ago thinking money was bad and wrong. And you could either it was an or situation. Either you were happy with a great family or you had money. And the neat thing is, I feel like I'm mentored because I am by many multimillionaires in commercial real estate. And the beautiful thing is you get to hand select what you want to put into your tool belt of resources, of ways of showing up, acting, business deals, negotiations, right? Of connecting. And also you can leave behind what doesn't work for your personality. And I think it's really, money is a beautiful thing. Tie it in with something you enjoy, where you can add value and benefit. Because if you think about it, the more value we provide, the higher dollar amount that is in our bank account that we can invest, that we can give back, that we can fund different, maybe it's art related things. I love the arts. I like supporting girls on the run, clean lakes, all of these different things, different causes that it takes money. And so I see it as an and, whereas many years ago it was an or.
Yeah. 100% agree. So I want to switch it a little bit to, because you are a very successful, high-powered woman who you hold your own, you hold yourself in a way that's very confident. What is your support system like? What do you need out of life to show up as you?
Yeah, definitely. So I think there's definitely a spiritual component, and that's where the meditation comes in. I do believe in God. I believe in a higher power. And I think also having family, friends, business colleagues, and also just even networking, as silly as that sounds, that there's always someone out there that you can learn from. And I have a growth mindset. I love learning. I think I'll be an endless student to that sense. But I think it's going to the right people for, what it is you're looking guidance on, right? So if it's for a great relationship, I'll go to this couple that I know. If it's something in business, maybe sales, I know that I'll go to this business professional. If it's in, some type of new project that I'm rolling out, I'll seek guidance from another business friend. And so it's really going to the source of someone that in your opinion is the epitome of success. Go to that person for the advice. Don't go to the person for the advice on love that doesn't have the relationship. That's an area. I'm still single, right? But the interesting thing about it is that I also believe there's a timing and a form and function of life. And so for me, my career starting abstract, it's almost 5 years ago, definitely required a ton of energy, a ton of time. I always joke that my child's name is abstract since I don't have children.
Yeah.
But it's doing what matters to you and not valuing others' opinions over your own. So to me, it was really essential to have a solid foundation before I wanted to build everything else on that. And that was just the way I was wired. And I think too, it took me quite a while to get on my path and to get to the space that I wanted, right? It was a journey and it'll continue being a journey, but that was a prerequisite for me. And so layering the other parts on, and the fun thing is I've got great friends and family. And also it's exploring the arts that are important and near to my heart, and the running and the international travels and things, that it's really creating a full portfolio of life. And I know that now that I'm shopping for a boyfriend, that the right one will come, right? And I always say it's one, and it's a quality type thing. And it's exciting to grow. We all have our areas of strength and weakness, and it's continuing on that path.
Yeah. And I think for so many women, as we're in this transition period of breadwinners and going to work full time and choosing not to have children, it's kind of confusing because there's still this mentality of, oh, you get married, you give to others, you give to your family, but then what? So taking the time first to find yourself and then creating the life you want, I believe is the path forward as we evolve as women. I always felt this. Well, I mean, I had kids really young at 16, but I always had this feeling of, oh, I have to get married, I have to get the house, and that was in the back of my mind for years and years until I hit about 40, and then it was like, oh, this doesn't fit me.
Right. And that's the beauty. That's the beauty, right? I think with age comes wisdom, and also as you understand yourself more. And that's where I say too, entrepreneurship is probably the quickest self-growth program you can ever enlist in, because you will very quickly identify your strengths, your weaknesses, what you like, what you don't like, and it's wrapped in with your livelihood too. So you can't look back and get stuck on this because it's going to impede everything else. And so I think to your point of, 40s, 50s, 60s, I think they're really neat ages. And I think so many more people are curating their life around what they enjoy, how their skills align, and connecting. And it's a more collaborative way of living. I think we all grew up very, very independently in the sense of you need to figure it all out, right? You need to be self-serving. You need to get this done on your own. Don't ask for help. Chin up, put the smile on and advance forward, young soldier.
Yep.
And I think it's different, it's definitely more different, and people are being more authentic and sharing their vulnerabilities and their fears in the effort to help people grow and to learn from each other and to really create a unified force in that advancement. And I think something that I've realized too is confidence is really just keeping your promises to yourself.
Yeah.
It's the small
Wow.
things. You know what I mean? If you're choosing, and again, choosing, not have to, words are so important. If you're choosing to have a salad at lunch, you better have that salad, right? And when you choose that maybe you're just gonna enjoy a night of Netflix and pizza, then follow through on that too, right? Whatever you promise to yourself, you better follow through, because when you don't, it erodes your self-confidence. And I think that's the biggest takeaway I've learned in some of the years. Also, the power of consistency and discipline. 10 years ago when I got into real estate, into the brokerage, and I was not disciplined, and it was really choppy. And between marathon running and also taking some hard hits in those days, you learn pretty quick. Discipline is a gift, and it's not this poor me and have to. Again, it's you choose an arena and you follow through on it. And I think it's really important. And also getting mentorship. So many people don't get mentorship. I wish I would have had a coach years ago. It makes such a difference. You're not going to feel alone. You're going to move through the learning curve much more quickly, more easily. And just knowing that someone has your back is huge. So, as a founder and a business owner of commercial real estate, I mean, I don't have any partners. I have a lot on my shoulders, and that's where too, it's creating that framework of resources that we chatted about and going to the experts in each arena for sage advice. Everyone's always going to have an opinion, and usually the people that know the least share the opinion the loudest. Go to the source and
Yeah.
align with where you want to be and give back. And I think too, what I've noticed over the years is people will come and they'll just want it all laid out for them. But what they don't realize is that you need to cultivate a relationship.
Yep.
And someone just asking for things is not necessarily the best approach.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so I know we only have like a couple more minutes. So can you talk about your business, your baby, for a few
Sure.
minutes? Let's hear about it.
Baby abstract.
Yes, baby
Yeah.
abstract.
Definitely. So I founded it, in the turbulent days of just as COVID was coming through. The part about it, though, that intrigued me was that from a timing perspective, despite, I feel bad for the people's health and people that did pass. Outside of that, from a strictly business standpoint, I saw it as a great opportunity. A lot of people get stuck in what's happening versus taking a higher vantage point and then thinking of, what do I want to create? What opportunities does this open? What doors can I walk through? So I took that vantage point and I thought, great, I'm getting my website together, all these different fundamentals. So while people are complaining, they're focusing on, what to do, they're not being disciplined, and they're laying on the couch and doing all of this, that I really seized the moment. And being in commercial real estate, obviously I couldn't go on tours in the beginning until they shifted that. And I was like, I'll create videos. No one was doing that in the Madison market. So again, taking the step, just like you did with your podcast, Stephanie, I just took my phone, and I do it to this day, turned it. It's a 1 or 2 take wonder. There's no editing. There's no buffering. It's the real. You hear some ahs and other things. So be it.
Yep.
I knew the metrics after being in commercial real estate for 5 years at that point. I made sure to include all of those, obviously contact information, and boom, sent it out. But that was also something fearful for me, because I was like, oh gosh, no one's doing it. But I stepped up to it. And that's where being part of a mastermind of national retail and restaurant brokers throughout the United States, we had all gotten to know each other and we would encourage each other. So it's surrounding yourself with good people, and they don't have to be local. So many people that I connect with are in different states. And it also, I think, makes it more meaningful, and I'm able to bring more in. But with abstracts, it was really, I'm a firm believer that you always have a choice. And I didn't agree with the choice that was on the table at my earlier firm. And sometimes there's two choices and you're not thrilled about either,
Right.
but you are the one that chooses. So I didn't like the deal being offered. So I said, I've got the experience. Why not go out on my own? And that's what I did. So it's been a very creative, expressive opportunity to bring more of myself, my creativity, the speaking, and really fill that niche of retail and restaurants that I've been doing now for 10 years. And I work with locals, regionals, nationals, and it's nice. It's the bigger deals that allow me to do some of the smaller heartfelt deals just because I want to. And I always like to ensure, though, that people do have resources, even if I can't help them, that I've given them the next step that they can go out and advance their business or their findings wherever they might be. And there's so many different resources here in Madison, Wisconsin, but also nationally. And that's where, to any state, I can help connect people in that sense, or if they are looking to have a deal brokered, that as well as investments. So it's growing. I have some new ideas that I am bringing online, and I am in the process of writing a book. So there's a lot of exciting things coming through the pike. I'm very creative, so that shines through too, and focusing in on investments as well.
So how can people find you if they want to learn more about you and follow along on your journey?
Sure. They can visit our website, abstractcommercialrealestate.com, or they can also find me on LinkedIn, Heather Ewing, EWING.
I'll put it in the notes.
Great. Thanks so much.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet.